Hi, this is Sam.
This is Becca.
We're on the turnpike on the way to Cleveland.
Yeah.
We're going to Cleveland for no set agenda. You're coming with us.
Just to hang out.
Just to hang out. Maybe you'll go to Melt. Maybe you'll probably go to a DVD store.
Yeah.
Probably go to a record store.
Yeah.
Probably buy some candles.
Yep.
Probably go to that double-decker Target.
No.
No?
I was thinking about it. I don't need anything there.
But you love that double-decker Target.
I'd rather go on a candle hunt and go to stores that sell candles. I can get Target candles at home. We need to restock.
We need to get a nacho-flavored candle.
No, but I don't want all those expensive ones. I need, like, some... We need to find a Ross.
There's that big Ross that has all the layers.
Yeah, that's the one I need.
The layers. Odd layers. They're called floors in some places. I call them layers.
I'd like to get some soap from Whole Foods.
Soap?
Yeah.
Maybe some beer.
Yeah.
We're just filling you in on our lives because it's been a while.
Yeah.
Since we did an episode. We did Clown House will play before this.
Yeah.
And then The Paperboy. And then we did...
You didn't put those out already?
Clown House is out. Paperboy will be the week before this.
Mm-hmm.
And then before that, we did the Terror at Red Wolf Inn.
Oh.
Or the folks at Red Wolf Inn.
No.
Terror House with Bill and Mark.
Yeah.
And now this.
Mm-hmm.
So just every once in a while, I like to bring people in, let them know what's going on in our lives.
Yeah.
Business is going well. Becca's working a new job. It's
Killing herself.
killing herself. She's
Slowly.
working hard, unloading trucks.
Mm-hmm.
My wife has a more masculine job than me. I sit at a desk and I type on a keyboard.
And he makes things pretty and
Huh?
makes things pretty.
I
And
make things pretty and I sell food. I get people to buy and eat fancy foods. Where my wife is a truck driver.
Yep. I want to start walking dogs. So.
If you have a
And
dog out
grooming
there,
them.
you're listening to this podcast and you'd like us to walk your dog.
I'd be very good at it.
So,
I love all God's creatures, except for snakes. I won't babysit or watch any snakes.
I think I've mentioned on the podcast before when we have a date night.
Yeah.
Right, it's Special Lady Day.
Yeah.
Yesterday was Special Lady Day. We got up and we went to the Half Price Books Half Price $2
How was it
sale.
Special Lady Day? We went to all your stores.
It was a little bit of everybody's.
Where did we go that was girly or special lady?
You got a lot of cool stuff.
Yeah.
We got a lot of movies for us. You got the Scooby-Doo box set that I got you.
Yes.
And then you got to have a pretzel that had pickles inside it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think that's a special day.
Yeah.
And then today we're going to Cleveland. We're gonna eat and melt. Like I said, we're gonna do some little adventure.
They better still have those buffalo tofu things.
I'm sure they still do.
They have to. I'm getting fish. Just get that for dinner.
Yeah. And then I'm sure we'll eat twice.
I know.
And then,
Well, you know what I mean.
yeah. And then for lunch, yeah. And then tomorrow we're going to. We have a engagement. We have reservations at the Melting Pot where we will
Do the fondue.
do fondue together, and
It'll be the first time we'll be there alone.
we'll be the lovers.
Yeah.
When was the last time you sipped moussaka with your lover?
You always say that. Moussaka's not a wine. You
I
can't
know.
sip it.
I know, but it makes
It's
me laugh.
food.
I think that's the point. How
Supped is what they say.
supped on moussaka.
Yeah.
We are nearing the PA-Ohio border. And, this podcast is about movies.
Yeah.
Let's tell people about what we've been watching. We spent a week.
I've lost a little bit of time of my life that I'll never get back.
Monday, Becca got done with work. And she
What
said,
even prompted me to do
you were
it?
on Netflix, and you were
Oh,
trying
yeah.
to find a movie. And
With Netflix, I feel like the way that they're categorized, it annoys me. So that's how I always end up either watching something I've already watched
Or watching
or
something.
watching something they suggest right away because I'm not going to go scroll through everything.
Yeah.
That's how that happens.
And they just added all the Twilight movies to Netflix.
And I said, I've never seen all of them or didn't see them
I had once said,
around the time that they came out.
I'm sure in a rage,
So I could give two shits
I
time
said,
or now.
I'll never watch those fucking movies.
Yeah.
Guess what? I watched all those fucking movies.
Not all of them. You haven't watched the
We
second one
are,
yet.
we are
so-
four movies.
4.5.
So Tuesday night, we went to Walmart together as we shop, and we always
No, Monday night, because
Monday
it was the day before your birthday.
That's right. Monday nights when we're shopping, every time we go shopping at Walmart, it's always like, well, we'll get this movie.
Yeah.
If we're up to about 2,000 movies now, maybe give or take.
That's why we're gonna have to buy a new house.
For new movies. We're just having a house for movies.
Yeah.
Good. Can you go to the movie house and bring me back all the Brian De Palma movies, please?
So we should have done with the garage.
Oh, it's just like just.
But the weather, I wouldn't want the stuff down there.
No. So we are excited that, well, or not, that we bought. They had a set of 3 Twilight movies for $10, but I was like, you know what? Let's be completists and get all 5, the full experience for $22 or $23.
But now I think every single one of them at that sale yesterday.
Oh yeah. If you in your area, wherever you live, as you're listening to this podcast, because we can't tell, iTunes doesn't give you stats. We know that there's people that listen in Iowa and Idaho and all over Oklahoma. There's people all over. That's like that one Body Count song. Like Ice-T thinks Ohio is a city. He's like, you might be in New York, Los Angeles, Ohio. And you're listening to this podcast, and if a half-price book sale comes to your town, I'd say go, but go with the realization that you're going to be surrounded by the smelliest crew of misfits as you get on the floor and go through giant bins of DVDs. Like, it's funny because I always think it's a big deal to go to the exchange or half-price books. After the barrage of looking through DVDs that the sale is, those stores were just like, yeah, okay. I must have looked through, 50,000 DVDs yesterday. Yeah. And we walked out with, not 30.
$79 worth.
Yeah. We're just filling the holes in our collection now. Like, if it's not like an Arrow or, what do you call it, Criterion one, or like a weird import or a bootleg or something you can't get, or something new, obviously. So there's always new movies. Yeah. Also, Becca bought me King Kong, the new King Kong. And the Belko experiment, and she also bought me the Dolls, the Criterion one, which is the best gift ever. Yeah. And so then earlier today we went to a horror movie flea market, and there were no movies that I wanted. And a lot of people just brought
they're junk.
They're junk, just bins of stuff. Next time we're just gonna bring popsicle sticks. And
just see if anybody wants them.
Just get markers.
I'm going to draw heavy faces on all of them and sell them.
I'm just going to draw markers and just so they look nothing like the characters. Like, that's Jack Torrance. Why? Well, it's blue. He's freezing. And it's like, it's only a quarter. You'd be like, you know what? It's a quarter. I mean, yeah. Right?
I just, Corinne's stuff was really cute. That's something I would expect to be there.
She actually put time into it. And she
put effort.
Yeah.
I wish we knew her Etsy shop thing, so I would say it on the podcast.
I can put it on the link on the bottom of it.
But, I mean, she's making horror movie t-shirt and band t-shirt underwear, and they're super cute.
She has little dresses, too.
And little dresses she made, and she's really good at sewing. And, her stuff is what I would expect or want to see there, not usually what's there.
She's smart getting the It shirts while they have them at Walmart, too.
Yeah.
Those will be good sellers.
Yeah.
If you like It, Halloween... She had some Transformer stuff. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's cute stuff. But other people that are there, it's just it just, I don't know. Maybe it's art for them. Everybody's art's subjective.
What's that crap?
Yeah, but there's nothing there that I'm like, well, I like the pot holders and stuff.
Yeah, but the stuff that lady made, just make pot holders. Don't make microwave bowl cozies. The chances of you using that all the time.
Did you see other things you could
And then the other thing, a rug mug, it's literally just something to set under your coffee cup. It's called a coaster, not a rug mug.
Well, I like the lady that made
or a mug rug, I'm sorry.
Little baby Groots.
Yeah, those are cute. That's creative.
Yeah.
Some of this stuff is, don't take your hobbies other than us.
And the guy had the booth with the soundtracks, was pretty cool.
Yeah.
That Fright Night figure was only $10. I've seen that for $100 online.
Oh wow.
Yeah. I mean, he had some cool stuff, and he had some he had some stuff from San Diego Comic-Con, some of the Super 7 alien stuff. So he had some neat stuff. Nothing I wanted, but it was still cool to look through.
Yeah.
I mean, I wanted it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I have to decide what we collect. Do I need a Del Muerte soundtrack? Yes. If we were rich, yes, I would buy that. But no. That said, if he had like a Beyond soundtrack like that, I'd be like, well, maybe.
Yeah.
Anywho, so we watched. Let's get back to the Twilight.
Why are these people going so slow?
I don't know. I'm getting over it. So we watched. We started the first night with Twilight, and I left. Where did I go Sunday? Where you were watching?
Sunday?
Yeah. Because he started watching.
Oh no, we started watching them Tuesday, I think.
No, he started watching. My birthday was Tuesday.
Oh, Monday you went to your little meeting, and then we went to dinner.
Oh, that's right. So I left. You were watching it, and I had that meeting at 5.
Yeah.
And then as we were at dinner, my wife said, "I think I want to see all these movies."
Yeah.
Because the first one's not. Okay.
The first one is the best one, and that's it.
The first one.
If there is a best one.
It's a different director doing the first one. And
really?
the girl who directed the first one really spent a lot of time directing and actually helped out the script.
The first. The other ones were just churned out after that.
The reason why there's different directors on almost every one of them is they rushed them into production. So they were doing a different production of them every year to get them out. So for the directors to do pre-production, the only way to do that is if they had planned to shoot 5 movies at once. That's the only way to do it.
Yeah.
But even doing pre-production for one movie is really hard.
Yeah.
So, like, the girl who directed the first one, and actually, that opening is the largest opening pre-Wonder Woman for any movie directed and starring a woman. It's the largest box office. It may still be the largest box office, but
it wasn't really starring a woman, though. I mean, he was in it, too.
I mean, she was one of the 2 main characters.
Yeah.
But, like, as for directed by a woman, that's the, I think Wonder Woman beat the first weekend record this year. But anyway, like, so she spent a lot of time, and the when the book came out, there was, I did some research into it. The girl who wrote the book spent a lot of time writing.
Stephanie Meyer.
Yeah, writing and rewriting the book. Because she wasn't sure if she was going to write it from Bella's perspective or she was going to write it from Edward's perspective. So she wrote 2 different versions of the novel. So there's a...
Why did she write this book? You don't need that, do you?
Yeah, okay.
I don't think you do, because we have this.
Oh, yeah, okay. Easy pass, by the way, in case anyone
wonders what we're arguing about.
Not arguing, just discussing. So
I just go, no. You don't
so she wrote, and she had only intended to write 1 book. And then as she finished the first book, she's like, oh, I have more to tell about these characters. But at that point, Hollywood had...
She like 50.
No, she's in her like late 30s, early 40s now.
When this was written, or when?
She was younger when she's like...
Is she a millionaire?
Oh, yeah. She has a new series on Starz called The Rook that's coming out. But that name's already taken by a comic book, so I don't know if they're going to change the name. But she just sold another series to Starz. But she's set for life.
I'm going to see how much she's worth.
The picture I saw of her, she had purple hair. And,
of course
she looked very much like a lady who would have kids, like a single mom that had kids that went to Hot Topic. It's like, oh, I'll be part of that. And they're like, Mom, come on. But so she wrote the second one, and then she was going to jump from the second movie right to the story that's in the 4th and 5th movies. But then she decided that she had never really written about Bella's graduation and what happened there. So she went back and rewrote that. She also never intended Jacob to be a main character.
Yeah.
And then, I guess she really kind of fell in love with writing him and expanded him. So there's a lot of stuff, especially from... She really agonized, I guess, about the second movie, especially about Edward leaving and all that. So, she said that she had almost a nervous breakdown writing those scenes.
Yeah.
So, but I think once the movie started rolling, and then
she's worth $125 million.
She has to be worth more. Because if you think about it, every DVD, I'm sure she's getting some points.
She probably sold it a long time ago, though, and
120. You could live for several family fortunes on $125 million. I mean, that's once you get above $10 million, I think. I mean, it's all just ridiculous at that point. And if you take $10 million of that, invest it into
Apple,
some steady investments, even if it just doubles or brings back 50% of that, then you're set. Mm-hmm. You can live on that $10 million investment and just unless you get used to having fancy cars and stuff, but anyways.
I think we could live on $1 million.
I think we live on 700,000.
I know.
That's our new game show.
Baby needs to get up there.
I'm working on it, trust me.
I ain't getting up there. Working at the PB.
Yeah. I'm starting to write my novel. I have a novel.
Can't you write a Twilight book? Please?
I actually have a novel. Do you want me to talk about it?
Don't give it away. No,
I can talk
somebody
about
else will steal it.
Copyright.
How have you copywritten it?
Because you do an artist copyright. You write what it's about, and then you send it to yourself with a self-addressed stamped envelope. You know what I mean? With where it's postmarked.
I feel like this is a...
No, seriously, it's an artist copyright. That's the way you do it.
Oh.
Yeah. Did we tell you about my novel?
You told me about it before.
What's it about?
I'm not going to tell the listeners.
What time period is it about?
The future.
No.
The past.
Yes. What country is it in?
Australia.
No, it's in America. What kind of creatures are in it?
Teens. Baby teens.
Werewolves.
Werewolves.
Yeah. Anyways, at some point, I even got to the point that I got all the submission forms because Harlequin, the romance company, has a brand called Harlequin Dark that just does like adult fantasy, like kind of like sexy novels about werewolves and vampires. And I was like, this book fits in. But I don't know if I'd want to go to Harlequin or just publish it myself. Yeah. I have a couple different stories that I'm working on for, I don't know where they come out at. It probably will just, so you know Ed, who's doing X-Men, Ed Fisker? Well, when his dad got laid off from the steel mills in the early 90s, he was trying to figure out what to do next. Yeah. So his dad decided that he was just going to write movies. Oh. So he wrote... Did
he do anything?
No. He wrote all... He went... And, like, he said he was always struck by the fact that his whole family was so supportive of it. Yeah. Because he had been through such, like, hardship with the mills closing and stuff. So he would just write all these movies. They're all, like, kind of sequels to movies he already liked, like Charles Bronson movies and stuff. Oh. So, like, Ed's... When he finishes this X-Men project... He's talked about that he has like 3 of his dad's completed scripts, and he's going to just turn them into comics.
Their dad's still living?
Yeah. Oh. And he's just going to turn it into a script. They did a thing where Channel 13 in town went to his old, because they moved from where they used to live in Mount Hall, and they closed a lot of those houses. And their old house was getting torn down, so he went, and there was a back room that was non-air conditioned that was his studio that he used, and all over the walls were drawings of X-Men and monsters and stuff. And but he said he realized his night when he was like 14, he was in this room that was like 100 degrees with no windows, just drawing all day and night. Yeah. And like now I have like a house with air conditioning and a porch. It's like it's a lot more comfortable to draw. Yeah. But he feels like that was his like boot camp. Yeah. But anyway, I think it's cool that he's like drawing these scripts of his dad. Anyway, he said his dad could never figure out the process of how do I get my scripts to Hollywood? Like how do you get in there? I think really. The method is either you get a book published and then your editor does it, or the big method was for a while was comics were getting made. That's how remember that movie Cowboys and Aliens? Yeah. That's how that got turned into a movie because the guy just paid just to make graphic novels of it and to make it look like it sold a lot. He gave away the graphic novels to conventions. So any convention you went to for like 2 or 3 years, you got a free comic of that. And then he could say, well, we've done like 4 million editions. That's what got Hollywood interested in that. Yeah. Because there was a while there post, even now, like people just buy comic stuff and just make it. They go crazy for it. So I think the reason why, what was that?
That asshole up there. Yeah. You also hear my comments on why people drive, probably.
The other big thing was that post Harry Potter, there was like maybe 1 or 2 movies left. They were looking for another movie that could take the Harry Potter audience. It was like a similar kind of thing where it had some magic, but it also was like the graduation of Harry Potter, where Harry Potter is very much middle school and up. Like how, as those tweens become young adults, how do we take it? So that's why like Divergent got greenlit. And Hunger Games. Yeah. So a lot of these young adult novels were really getting picked up. Even like Lemony Snicket, that's why it got turned into the initial movie because they're...
Well, it's too... Almost, it's not violent, but it's not for little kids.
So anyway, like all of these young adult novels were getting bought. And so they, even as the first novel was getting published, they noticed Twilight and it felt like a good fit because you think about it, it's a good graduation from Harry Potter, I guess, where Harry Potter's kind of about young kids and like up to like 14, 15.
Well, how many Harry Potter movies are there? 6 or 7?
8, I think. If you count, maybe 9 if you count the new one.
I wonder if I would feel differently about them if I was younger.
I think so.
Like if they came out when I was little.
So many adults that love Harry Potter, and I just could never get into it.
Me either.
But these are also people, almost everyone I know that likes Harry Potter also likes soccer. So.
Is there something with that?
They want to be British.
Oh.
Or like, they don't feel like they, you know what I mean? It's like, oh, I want to be a little different. I just never, no part of, but I'm come from a Star Wars generation, maybe, Indiana Jones generation. And like, I don't know. I'm not that excited about magic kind of movies, like wizards and stuff. Like, it's not like Game of Thrones. It's like, I don't care. But anyway, we saw Twilight. So do you want to set up what Twilight's about briefly? In case anyone hasn't never seen it. What's it about?
It's about stupid vampires.
No, well, it's about high school. And there's this girl named Bella who moves from Phoenix, where she lived with her mom, because her mom is dating a minor league baseball player who we never see.
Name's like Al or something.
Yeah,
What's his name? Bob.
He's kind of like how on Cheers, on Norm's wife, you always just kind of saw him.
An arm?
Yeah, an arm. And so I was like, hey, Bella's getting married. He's like, that's good. And he's just like throwing a ball in the background. And then her parents are divorced. Dad never remarried. Her dad is a sheriff in a town called Forks. Originally, the name of Twilight was Forks.
That's stupid.
Of course it is. So she goes to school in Forks, and there she meets a whole bunch of people, including...
She's befriended right away, which is strange.
So, this is the crazy thing about this to me.
And it's like, not the losers that like her. It's like the medium, normal kids.
It's kind of like Mean Girls, but worse, because it's the opposite. Every new kid I've ever seen come into school, there's an initial period of like, oh, cool, new kid's here. Either they get treated better than anybody else, or they get treated like shit. She gets treated like girls are crazy about being her friend. Like, no girl is catty, and no girl is shitty. Every girl's like, I want to be her best friend. And every dude is like, oh my god, she's the most beautiful girl ever. She's not, 1.
No.
2, everybody calls her Arizona and stuff. She doesn't look like she's from Arizona.
And she doesn't look like she wants a nickname either.
No, and she is like uncomfortable all the time. She's like
she's uncomfortable in life. She is the same person that she is on TV and movies that she is in life, I feel like.
You think?
Yeah, her personality, big time.
But she's just kind of like, doesn't want to be around anybody, but everybody is crazy to be around her. There's that one kid.
The Asian kid?
The Asian kid who has...
Oh, and that boy.
And the other boy who comes into the story later. And everybody is just dying to be with her.
Best friend.
And everybody, they either want to be your best friend or they want to date her. And there's nothing in between. Like, just people are crazy about her. And all her friends are relatively stupid in school, including Anna Kendrick. Is that who that one girl is? The one who's, she is, and by the way, I learned this from doing some research. None of her dialogue was written for the movie.
What was it written for?
It was all her ad-libbing most of the dialogue. That speech that she gives at graduation in the 3rd movie, completely ad-libbed. Because she ad-libbed most of her dialogue in that movie Pitch Perfect. And they're like, you know what? Your character's really not that well-rounded. Just get up and say some stuff.
Yeah.
So she, literally, her view of the character was mentally handicapped. And just weird. And always said awkward stuff. It was stupid. So anytime she did scenes, she just did them like that. Because to me, I was like, nobody would talk that dumb. That's why, because she just kind of took it as a joke, it feels like, at least. Anyway.
Her face bothers me so much.
So Bella is a student, and she goes around the school, she meets all these people. So finally she goes to chemistry class, and that's where she meets... Edward Cullen. And he has a giant owl behind him. And all I can do is there's that owl behind him, and that's all you do is watch the owl. And as they're supposed to be looking through a microscope. He is just a dick.
He's mean.
He's just outright mean to her. He gets so upset about being her lab partner that he goes and tries to get out of the class. And then she comes and she feels bad about it. And she finds out, like, he's like, well, I guess I'll stick out with biology. So then he alternates between being mean and being flirty to the point that he totally scores every time with her.
Yep.
And then, like, when he just is about to pull her in, he's crappy to her again. It makes no sense. So then, there's the one black kid in school who can't drive his car. I don't know why. He's like ghost riding the whip, going through the parking lot, and he almost hits her.
Yes.
And Edward saves her by like being the Flash. In this movie, here's what I learned. Vampires are superheroes.
Yes.
They all have different superpowers. I'll get into it a bit later, but pretty much it's like X-Men, but vampires. So he saves her, and she also gets a new truck. And this kid, Jacob, rebuilds her truck, and he has beautiful hair.
Looks like a young Alaskan version of my baby.
So I learned from doing some research that he almost wasn't in the second, third, fourth, fifth movies.
Yes.
Because they didn't think that he would be able to put on the size that he needed to be. He had to gain 25 pounds of muscle for the second movie.
Really?
Yeah. But the other reason he almost didn't come back is he hated wearing that wig.
Oh, yeah.
Because he felt that it really put him off. So they said, you don't have to wear the wig anymore. We'll do a scene where you cut your hair. We'll make a big deal about it.
Yeah.
So in Forks, there's a big Native American populace.
Yes. What's the tribe called? Do you remember?
No.
I don't either.
Well, here's an interesting thing. Every one of the kids in those scenes had to do genealogy tests on them to prove that they were true Native Americans. So almost every one of the characters is from a different tribe. Which is
crazy.
Yeah, it's not like, you remember that old commercial where they throw the garbage and the Indian cries, Iron Eyes Cody? He was Italian.
That's
it
funny.
wasn't even like really, and like almost all the major wrestlers, like
who act Native American?
Yeah, like
or Hawaiian.
Like Chief Jay Strongbow, who's like the big one in the Northeast. His real name's Joe Scarpa. He was an Italian guy. Then the one other big one, there was a guy, Billy Two Eagles, I think was his name. He eventually, once he stopped being a wrestler, he became Sheik on LKC and became an Iraqi guy. Because, like, the difference, like, you know, to racist wrestling fans, like, is that guy an Indian or is he an Iraqi? I really can't tell the difference.
Samesies.
Yeah, so anyway, this Native American tribe, turns out, they're all werewolves.
Yeah.
And they're, like, in a pack. Like, they act like how baby dogs do. Like, they're always playing with each other. Tickling each other. And Becca loves the werewolves.
I know, they're all cute and cuddly.
So there's a whole big thing about who's going to be the alpha. That comes into the second movie. Let's not get to that.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Bella falls in love
with
Edward. And pretty much the whole first movie is
her chasing him around.
And him not wanting her. And then the other dude...
But he doesn't want her because he has a secret.
What's his secret?
That he's a vampire.
Well, I think that's super obvious, like, really early. So he comes from a family...
Well, we know that because there's a book, but I mean, if you're Bella and you don't know that...
But anyway, his family, his father is a surgeon.
Who aren't his real parents,
They're adopted. And his mother just does stuff. Whatever. Wears dresses. And, like, does things for people. But he has, like, a whole bunch of brothers and sisters who all date each other. Which everybody finds kind of weird. This is probably why we were watching this movie, because it was about incest. And, but they all kind of intermingle and date. But that's because they've adopted all these children over the years. Most of these children look like they're in their 20s.
They look older than that.
My favorite of the brothers and sisters
is Alan. You like the boy, Emmett.
The fat Emmett, the one who's just like a big meathead.
That's Emmett.
And like every time a situation can go wrong, Emmett is the one that fucks it up. Like they're at a party.
He's laughing. He's always like, huh.
He laughs at everybody, and every time they go to a party, he's like the drunken. He's like hanging out with John Bowen. If John Bowen was a vampire, he would be Emmett.
Yeah.
He just like he's like, I'm really strong and I'm drunk and let's just break stuff. And what werewolves? I'll fight him.
Yep.
So anyway, one of the other vampires, that girl vampire, the one from Alaska, her boyfriend falls in love with. Or wants to take, what's her name? Bella Swan for his and kill her. And Edward kills him. Right?
Yeah.
And that's the end of the first movie. Is her saving him. And them falling in love. Cool. And if it ended there, I think we'd all be okay with it, right?
Yes.
The second movie is where things get bad. Because the second movie pretty much starts with them being in love. And that's the scene I want to talk about in the first movie. When Edward finally picks her up and takes her at the diner, and they go to meet her friends are so excited that she's dating Edward. It's like they're getting to date him too.
Yeah.
It is like a mania of how excited they are. And that's when I started making off-color comments to my wife. Pretty much almost every one of these movies, I just made dirty comments the entire time to upset my wife.
Trust me, I was there.
It's like I am every robot at Mystery Science Theater, but all I care about is sex. And gross stuff. Like my claim that all vampires have pigtail penises. Not true. They don't.
No.
So for the second movie, what's the second one called?
New Moon.
New Moon. Now, why
That's
is it?
the werewolves.
It's the werewolves movie. So in the beginning, we find out. So Bella has been dating Edward for a while. The dad's kind of not cool about it.
No.
He's a dad, and she's starting to get in close with the vampire family. Oh, how did I forget this?
What?
In the first movie, so Edward's like, I want you to meet my family. So she comes out, she meets all the family, and they're
creepy as fuck.
All creepy, kind of weird out. She goes, "Are you ready to go have fun?" They're like, well, it's raining outside. I'm like, well, let's go outside.
Play
and they're in the middle
baseball.
of a storm. Everybody gets like 1920s baseball uniforms on, like the Chicago White Sox wore during the scandal of the 20s with Joe Jackson. They all put on vampire costumes. I mean, baseball costumes. I don't know. Is it because baseball has a bat? But this is why I think they're the X-Men. Because the dad is kind of like Professor X. He gathers this adopted clan of misfits. And then instead of like fighting evil, they just play baseball. Or softball. Or they play some outdoor sport. And then everybody plays baseball with their superpowers. And then the one sister hates Bella. And Bella has to call her out on like a slide into second. And it starts a huge fight. This baseball scene goes on. Like 20 minutes. It totally shuts the movie down. And it's all shot with the craziest CGI and filters and running, and everybody's trying to outdo each other, and it's like, it's just fucking baseball.
Yep.
I don't understand this scene at all. This is the scene that totally took me out of the movie, and I'm like, it's like, this isn't just like some mainstream movie. This is a crazy person wrote this movie.
She did.
Also, a crazier person wrote 50 Shades of Grey, because that started as Twilight fan fiction on an AOL message board. Yeah. And you can see it, because kind of like he acts the same way as Mr. Grey. Like, he's always leaving, and he had some bad stuff in his past. So, at this point, from the second movie on, it's really about a few things, right? What's it about? It's about protection.
That's all these movies are about.
If you drink every time they say protection in these movies.
Or just in the same sentence where there's the word Bella and protection.
Yeah. I mean, even if Bella's
I want you to, every time you talk about me from now on, I want it to be about protection.
When I leave the house, I'll be like, Angela,
protect your mother.
Protect your mother.
Because I cannot.
Because I cannot. I can't be here for her. So then then Bella sleeps while he just watches her. There's a lot of that. And then there's a lot of, is Bella going to be with him, or is she going to be with Jacob?
Who do you really want her to be with in the end?
I don't want...
You just want her to go away. You want her to die.
Here's what I learned about this movie.
Yeah.
Here's why I think teenage girls like this movie.
Why?
Everybody in this movie is a reprehensible, horrible person.
Yeah.
That only wants what they want for themselves. And it is... I didn't date in high school. Yeah. But the relationships I observed from the outside of high school were all the worst relationships.
Well, yeah, because you're young and stupid.
Because you're young and stupid. And what do girls want? Girls want a boy.
They just want attention. They don't really care who it's from.
A boy that gives them attention, and a boy that makes them feel happy, secure, and gives them. And sometimes girls want guys that give them stuff or make them feel good about themselves. Guys want, young guys just want sex. Yeah. Or they want a girl, they don't know what sex is yet, so they want a girl to make out with them or whatever.
Yeah.
And they also want to feel like they're men. And that they're there for the woman, like the protection thing. But like really, everybody is
These are like 40-year-olds in little men's bodies.
But
so
your hormones are out of whack, right?
Yeah.
You're going through all the most changes you will ever go through in your life, all within like 5 years.
Yeah.
And you're just, especially as a guy, you go from like, girls are gross, I hate everybody, to, I have to have sex with every girl, and I don't know why. What is happening to me? That all happens at once.
Yeah.
And it's just like a barrage of stuff. So I can see girls loving it because young girls also love guys.
They want their boyfriends at 15 to treat them like that when that's not realistic.
Yeah, and then they also say, this guy is a bad person, and he's treated every girl horrible, and he's unreachable, and he has some deep, dark, brooding secret. I want to be the one to fix him. And that's who Edward is, the perfect version of it. It's like, if he was just with me. And guys are the same way, too, because guys are always like, they get like, and this is Jacob is every guy.
Mm-hmm.
They get friend zoned by a girl. And they're always the dude, like if you want to go to, like, oh, I wish you'd come to the mall with the prom dress I'm going to wear when I go with that guy and treats me like shit. You're like, yeah, I'll go, that's cool. Do you know what I mean? Because in the back of your head, like, sooner or later, Dick in glass, break in case of emergency. Someday she's going to realize, and girls never realize that. Because guys have to break it out of their heads where it's like, when you find the right person, they don't want to be with shitty people. They've made the personal growth to be like, you know what? I should be with someone that treats me right. And that takes a long time. A lot of girls just love drama. And love when drama's about them. And love when dudes fight over them. And love whenever guys feel unrequited. They love that unrequited guy. And they act like they don't know it. This always has romantic comedies. I didn't realize you loved me all. Mm-hmm. And it's like in Friends whenever they watched the Ross video from the prom where Elliot Gould got him his suit and all this stuff. He was ready and that shitty guy took him. Yeah. Like, I don't like Friends, but that's pretty realistic. You know what I mean? That's the way it happens. That's who Jacob is. And the problem is, where most dudes stoically take that and only complain to their friends, Jacob makes it real obvious that he's uncomfortable with this. And he says real shitty stuff to her. And you know that shitty stuff that he says to her should push her away. That girl loves drama. So it just reels her in even more. And he'll be like, you know, I'm going to go in the woods with my wolf people, and you can let him kill you. And she'll be like, but I'll always miss you. Will you? And he's like, or you know what I mean? Then you should just kill me right now. And she's like, I would never do that to you. And he goes, well, and he kicks his motorcycle and leaves. She's like, holy cow! Like, why am I so excited about this? About dudes talking like I'm a piece of shit. It is the most teenage drama romance ever. Anyway, so when Edward attacks her, he gets all riled up. And that's the problem. Is like, if I've learned anything from this movie, when vampires do it, you got to be a vampire, or you're not going to make it. There's this famous essay from the '60s called "Man of Steel, Woman of Kleenex" that Larry Niven wrote, this science fiction author, and it was all about why Superman can only date Wonder Woman. Because if he was with Lois Lane, he'd break her, and like he would also, like, his baby would kick his way through her. Do you know what I mean? Like, all these different things. It gets pretty biologically gross, but Superman's an alien. In the same way, like, a vampire and a human shouldn't breed. Yeah. If what we've learned from this movie, that vampires are superheroes. Yeah. We haven't learned that werewolves can't. We've learned that werewolves flip out and occasionally just bite you for no reason.
They're like our dog.
They're like our dog and me. They're grumpy all the time. And they also... They're
grumpy, long-haired.
Yeah. And they like to kick motorcycles.
They like to wear board shorts.
And here's the difference, is you will get no gifts at all from Edward. Mm-hmm. But Jacob's so thoughtful. Like, he builds
you a dream catcher.
Yeah, he's like, you've been having trouble sleeping. I'm going to make you a dream catcher. So no reason.
Well, he's very of the land. He's a native. So, like, they make arts and crafts.
And he's also so friend-zoned, dude.
That's, like, how all their gifts are.
When she's out with him, he's like, I'm going to go hang out with your dad for a bit. And, like, the dad's out. And he's, like, the dude where it's like, the dad's like, I don't know why you're not with him. He might be gay. I mean, he's with his friends a lot. Like, I'm with Edward. Like, he's just kind of creepy. Mm-hmm. Well, I like him. He's that dude. Yeah. Also, there's an amazing scene in the second movie. I think it's in the second one. Where Edward's on that date with her. And he goes, I can read the minds of everyone in this room. Yeah, and he's like going through the room. He's like, he's thinking about sex. He's thinking about sex. And then he goes to this guy and goes, he's thinking about his cat. And the guy doesn't even hear it, but I don't know how they did this. And he looks at the camera and goes, yeah. and he just literally looks at it needed like a little like burr, burr, kind of noise whenever he does that. So, okay. So, the werewolf is in love with Bella, but she doesn't know. She just thinks they're friends. And, like, but he's like, she feels like her true self around him. Right? Like, she can communicate with him, she can talk, and he's never, like, kind of crap. He said he'll never hurt her like Edward. But then Edward thinks that she's dead.
Yeah.
Why does he think she's dead?
What do you mean?
Remember, in the second movie, he thinks she's dead for some reason. Oh, because she jumps at that, the girl whose boyfriend he killed, the other one, keeps coming after her, Bryce Dallas Howard. Victoria. So she jumps in the water, so it looks like she's dead. And he has this vision that she's dead, and he loses his mind. So he decides to go to where this council lives. Who's the girl that leads the council?
Dakota Fanning.
Dakota Fanning. Yeah, I don't remember.
I feel like that was a weird movie choice for her. She was doing all that, like, avant-garde, like...
They were like, look, we got all this money. Well, the girl that they were going to hire to play Bryce Dallas Howard's part got fired as they were making the movie.
Why?
They didn't like her in it. They shot a lot of stuff with her. There's tons of people.
Well, the girl, she doesn't play her all the way through. The girl who starts off as her.
Yeah, she got
the same girl.
She got fired, yeah. Anyway, so Dakota Fanning leads this group of people that are like the Vatican and vampires that like judge them. And if anybody gets out of line, they kill them instantly. Well, Edward decides, even though he's been pushing her away his whole life, he decides he can't live without her, so he decides to go to this big festival where they brag about how they killed vampires hundreds of years ago and reveal himself. And if you do, like, he glitters and all this stuff. So he decides to go.
It's like my baby when he gets out of the shower. He glitters.
Yes. So she stops at the last minute, and they're back together. And that's where the second movie ends. The third movie begins with them breaking up again. It is every high school relationship. And her dad's like, look, you need to get away. You need to get some space. This dude's not good for you. And I'm like, I'm totally with the dad. All the dad wants to do is
you like how she calls him Charlie?
Yeah, and she doesn't love her dad. She's such a...
She's a bitch.
She's a bitch. She's shitty to everybody. And you know what? Everybody's so nice to her in the town.
I feel like she's like that in real life.
You know that scene where they're in the diner and everybody's so excited because like she was only there till she was 4. I'm like, I got that pie you used to like. Your dad eats it every night because he reminds me of you. That lady who's
she's
like that lady in the background that says, do you have any vegetarian options?
Yeah.
That's the author of the book.
Oh.
And then that other dude's like, he's like, you remember me? I used to be that Santa. You have to remember my lab. And it gets kind of creepy. And she's like, oh yeah, you give bottles to everybody for Christmas. What the fuck is that dialogue about?
I know.
Anyway, so they break up again. At this point, it's a constant war between Jacob and her.
Yeah.
And then we find out that Bryce Dallas Howard has taken the kid who has the hots for Bella, the geeky kid who throws up in the theater because he can't handle Face Punch the movie.
That's not him.
Oh, isn't? I thought that was, well, nothing
it's
makes
just
sense.
some kid she bit so she could make an army.
But wouldn't it have been better if it had been that kid?
Yeah.
Okay. So she makes this army of goth kids, of hot topic kids, street urchins from all around Seattle. And it turns out they've been killing people for a while, and the weird Vatican group are investigating.
They don't want them to be known.
Yeah. And the family's trying to figure it out. And the family, nobody really feeds on. They get like blood packs.
You gotta be in the right lane.
They have like blood packs. They don't like really prey on humans. Mm-hmm. At this point, all Bella wants is to play Jacob and Edward off each other. And every time she's with Edward, Edward's like, I want to be with you. She's like, cool, let's have sex. And he's like, no, I want to be married first because I'm old-fashioned, so I'm 108 years old, and I'm a pedophile. And so I want to be married to you before I have sex with you. And she's like, well, then you have to turn me if we're getting married. He's like, I don't want to turn you because being a vampire sucks. Up until this point, nothing in this movie has proven to me that being a vampire sucks.
Yeah.
It seems like the best life ever, doesn't it?
You know.
There's also a lot of parallels supposedly between this and The Lost Boys.
Yeah.
Like, even the poster they did for it, I guess. Anyway. So, they play these...
Lost Boys is genius compared to this.
Oh, of course. So, all these Hot Topic vampires are coming to kill her. Right? Because she wants revenge. She wants to take away the only person Edward loves in the same way that he took away her boyfriend.
Yes.
So she builds this big army, and then the Collins are like, we can't fight them alone. They're like, you know what? Let's get the werewolves to help us.
Yeah.
So they decide, and who came up with this plan? I don't know. That Bella's going to cut her wrist and put blood on every tree to lead them to her. Except she's an idiot. Beyond being a bitch, she's also an idiot. she puts too much blood on the trees, and she gets sick, and she gets like super cold. So Jacob has to take all his clothes off. It's such a guy move. She's like, I'm so cold. He goes, well, you'd warm up faster if you took your clothes off and get in the sleeping bag with me. And she's like, yeah, that's a good idea. And then Edward just watches this, like cuckolded, like just watching. And then the whole time, like, this is where Jacob goes from being sympathetic character to just outright asshole. The whole time he's like, I'm in bed with your woman. And she's knocked out. She's not going to make the night unless she next to my naked werewolf body. and Edward's like, yeah.
I feel like that's a line you're going to use on me in the future.
Oh, no, like, you'd be like, I'm so cold, like, you would be warmer. It's such guy logic. It's such guy thinking with your dick logic. Like, no, clothes keep you warmer. You know what? I would warm you up faster if you took off your clothes. But my teeth is really warm. My werewolf dick is just literally scalding. They actually use it to heat up baths.
Oh, good.
In the old days, you would put the werewolf.
Yeah.
Anyway, so they keep her alive, and then all these people attack. And that's when Jacob finds out that they're getting married. Because, like, after, like, a whole night of Jacob being an asshole, Edward's like, I got this fucking trump card. And when the right time comes, I'm going to go, ta-da!
Well, they sent him an invitation. That's how he found out.
No, because he's like, no, that isn't how he finds out. He finds out after. Because they're up there, and she's like, she's like, I love him. And she goes, but you're going to spend the rest of your life with me. And she goes, I can't wait to be married to you, but you're both important to me. And that's when Jacob walks in and goes, wait, what? You're getting married? You slept next to me naked all night while your boyfriend watched. And then I threatened to kill him while you were half dead. And there's a lot of creepy stuff in this, like, at this point.
Yeah.
Anyway, so then the werewolves come, and what follows is, after 3 movies where you're like, I hate this. Nothing's been good since the baseball scene. A fight happens, and it is the greatest fight ever. It's werewolves and vampires doing wrestling moves. A bunch of kids that look like they work at Hot Topic and ripping their heads off. Yeah. It lasts about 10 minutes, not probably 5 minutes. It
feels like 10.
It should have, no, it feels like not enough. It should have been the whole movie.
I'm just fighting.
Then the Vatican people come.
Yeah.
And she named them after some town. She didn't realize that she took a name just like it in Italy, where it was, where they're from. Anyway, they come, and they're like, what happened here? I'm like, we were just taking care of our own. There's these vampires who were killing people, and oh yeah, that's why we're here too. Well, we already took care of it. Oh really? Well, there's one girl left, but we're going to raise her like our own, because that's what we do, because we're the X-Men. And they're like, nope, we're going to rip her arms off and kill her. Yeah. Anyway, that's where that movie ends, and then they're setting up the wedding. And the wedding's going to be a big deal, right? The wedding's in the 4th one.
Yeah.
Yeah, yes. So, the fashion girl, how long did it take you to plan our wedding?
Not long. It was doing all this
stuff. It wasn't a day.
No.
Like, you didn't put it together in a day.
No.
Can you imagine if your mom had been at that wedding, the shit that these people heard?
Oh,
like,
man.
They made me take off these oaken chairs. They were carrying them on their shoulder. I don't know why they're so strong. And all of them, when it came time to do the food, they were nowhere to be found.
Exactly.
So me and Mary Ellen had to make all the vampire food while everybody else had fun. I hope these vampires are happy. We had to mix up the blood pudding. Do you know how hard it is to do blood pudding? It kept clotting.
Oh.
Who? No. And Edward would be like, please, Jackie, I'm sorry. And she would just be yelling.
You were kind of like that. I'm sorry. Just apologizing.
When am I going to have children? Well, if I put
You're getting off here.
And Edward would be like, if I put a baby into Becca, it would kill her. I want a grandchild. Like, did you not hear me that it would kill her?
I want a grandchild.
Yeah. This is my favorite. Like New Year's Eve, everybody's sitting around like, we hope next year is great. And thank you for the health. And we hope that we're all here next year. Just before Amen, your mom sneaks in and a baby! I don't care who it's from.
No.
I don't care if Edward and Bella have a weird baby that closes off her womb and breaks her back. We're going to have a baby.
Yep.
Anyway, they get married, and it is the most ridiculous wedding. It is so over the top.
Mm-hmm.
And then they invite a bunch of werewolves, and they invite relatives from all over the world.
Mm-hmm.
I think the only reason they put you have the pass.
Mm-hmm.
I think the only reason they had all these characters in this is so that they could do spin-offs.
No. But they didn't really.
But they still could.
Yeah.
Where it's like Twilight, Rush.
True.
So, and then like people have heat with the werewolves, like how why did they invite the werewolves?
Yeah.
And then Jacob comes super late, and he's just all just kind of a mess. And then she had already begged him to kiss her earlier. It was real super awkward. And then like he's like, I'm gonna kill you someday. He's like, this is my wedding, bro. Come on.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of weirdness. And then like everybody's dancing, and then fashion girl doing backflips.
Oh, I know.
And then everybody gets up and gives a speech.
Mm-hmm.
Never do that. We are never doing this. I know we're gonna get married like 4 or 5 more times, have more ceremonies.
Mm-hmm.
No one gets a live mic at our wedding.
I've
been to one wedding where they put a mic up where anyone can give speeches.
Mm-hmm.
It was for that kid that runs the game store, Rico.
Yeah.
And he kept grabbing the mic as he got drunker and drunker and apologized.
The groom?
Yeah, the groom. So this wedding's super awkward, and then they decide to go on a honeymoon.
Yes.
They go to some island. Right?
Yeah.
They go to this island. That's like an 80s old one.
Punk.
And at the island, the first time they make love, he breaks the bed and everything in the room.
Yeah.
They just crunch in the bed. And he bruises her all up, and she's like, I kind of like that. That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
But he almost breaks her arm.
Yeah.
And then the dude and his sister, who were supposed to clean the place, she's like, a monster! A monster!
Yeah.
To him. I forgot to mention,
Yes.
the music in these movies is
Great
fucking horrible. Robert Pattinson wrote some of the songs.
Did he?
Yeah.
Yuck.
Yeah, he didn't know they were going to put his music in. So
Who sang them? Him?
Yeah, they found demo tapes and put them into scenes.
Oh, God.
There's a Radiohead song too that's never released. That's the only good song in
I
the
don't
whole thing.
remember it.
It's at the end of the first movie. Tell us about the fashion of this movie before we get into the end of the fourth movie.
Tacky.
Like, what brands are in this?
Oh. That's just really blah. Like, no real color palettes. Everything's black, gray.
It's all American Eagle, you said.
Well, it is. Like, a lot of her clothes are American Eagle. I think a lot of, the casual clothes that the kids wear, it was supposed to be American Eagle. And I don't know if it was... I don't think it was every movie that we did at all.
Yeah.
I just remember... I think it was towards the end when they did it, because I remember hearing about it at work. And, I really think, they only dressed Bella, and they dressed, some of her friends at school. The parents obviously didn't have American Eagle on it.
Didn't they create a character just for the movie? Oh, no, that's the faculty. Where they created a character for the movie that just didn't end up being in it.
Yeah.
But it was some clothing company made her.
Well, Tommy Hilfiger did all the clothes for the faculty.
And there was a character for the faculty that Tommy Hilfiger had created that was in all their social media. And then when the movie came out, she wasn't in it.
Well, I mean, in that one, their logo is so everywhere in that movie.
But that's a good movie.
Yeah.
By comparison.
But it's all clothes I wouldn't wear. Like that Alice. She has fashion in the way that, a young suburban mother has fashion. It's not my favorite.
Just in all the wedding dress is okay, though.
The wedding dress was very pretty.
The back of it was cool.
Mm-hmm.
But, so anyway, their whole honeymoon is she's like, I want to have sex with you. And she's wearing sexier clothing. And he's like, I don't, because I don't want to break your arm, because I get nuts.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, I want you to get nuts. And he's like, I don't want to get nuts. And so she just starts teasing him, and we have all these scenes of her putting on lingerie, and she is...
And goes to bed.
Yeah, and puts her butt up in the air, and stuff. It's she is the unsexiest. They're supposed to be the sexiest characters in this, and at no point am I wow.
Yeah.
These two have I want to see these two kiss, and their screen chemistry. Their screen chemistry is like oil meets oil. They just bounce off each other, and they were dating at the time. So you should be these people have sex all the time.
It's a lie.
This is hot. It's not hot at all. Mm-hmm. Also, his eyebrows get bushier and bushier because he refused to wax his eyebrows. Mm-hmm. So anyway, miracle of miracles. Mm-hmm. Turns out that vampires, whenever they put a baby in you, it starts growing right away.
Yeah.
So while she's on their honeymoon, she misses her period. Quick.
It's almost like half a baby within a week.
Yeah, and she's like, I could feel it. And so then they get that maid who's no expert, right? Like,
she can't even speak English.
Yeah, what's she know? She's heard. She heard a couple legends. So she walks up, she puts her hand in her belly, she just looks at her and goes, Death!
Death.
What the?
Yeah.
So anyway, his dad's a doctor. We don't know of what. Like, what's the dad's specialty? The dad can do everything. And he has that crazy...
Bleaching his hair.
And that crazy X-Men lab.
Yeah.
And then we find out the life story of every vampire. Like, the one dude who was a Civil War soldier.
Yes.
And then after that, his accent is, like, super strong. Maybe I never noticed his accent before.
No, we only had it after they made it up.
Yeah, and he's like, hey, I feel like everybody's comfortable enough knowing that I was in the southern side of the war, and I was totally down with slaves, but now I'm cool.
Yeah.
The only black vampire in this whole movie got his head chopped off.
It is a very white movie.
It is a white movie. Well, most vampires are from the old world. They have old world values. We're not... It's pretty much Native Americans against colonials.
Well, according to Anne Rice, because all those books are shot in, like, Louisiana and all that, they, bit the slaves and the Creole people, and there's a lot of black vampires.
Yeah.
They fed on black people.
But in this world, it's very much the white colonial old world people against the Native American werewolves. If you think about it.
Yeah.
So, Bella is pregnant, and it's happening super quick. Jacob finally comes around, and she looks horrible. And the first thing he says to her is, "You look like shit."
Basically.
And then her shirt comes up, and she has giant belly.
Is that where that Whole Foods was we were at?
No, it's further. Maybe that is. I'm not sure.
I think it is. Huh.
So anyway, she's pregnant, and she's dying, and they make her Slurpees of blood.
She's gross.
And that makes her feel better. Until she drops the last one, and her back just breaks. The baby kicks her back out. And the baby's like, I'm getting out of here. And then everybody starts referring to it as the fetus and it. Nobody refers to what it really is. But Jacob comes up with a wacky name. What's her name?
Renesmee.
Renesmee.
It's a horrible name.
Rashida Jones is your name.
Yeah.
Rashida. Resesme is going to be the baby's name. So they decide to have...
Wasn't it her mother and his mother's names mixed together?
It's horrible. And they don't tell anybody. Like, Jacob's the only one they tell. Like, her dad's like, oh yeah, we're taking her to her place in Scandinavia because she's not feeling well. And we're going to take her here, but everything's going to be fine, don't worry. Meanwhile, she's like a couple doors down, having a baby. So they
in the woods.
And so nobody's fed for a while. So the mom and dad, the surgeon guy, go out and they decide to go find blood. Because there's no blood in the house because Bella drank it all. It's the shittiest house guest.
Yes.
They get attacked by werewolves. And then so much happens in this movie.
I know.
They get, and so Edward and Jacob have to deliver the baby. And so it's all like blurry and stuff. The baby comes out and...
Spoiler alert, Bella dies.
Well, that's because to get to the baby, he has to eat his way through her stomach. Right?
I think so.
He's like biting her belly. And
I figured out.
And then he gets out a needle and he's like, I have to put my venom in her. So
Is that what they call it?
Yeah, so he puts his venom in her, but it doesn't turn her and she dies. And he's like biting her all over.
But she eventually...
Yeah.
It takes...
But he bites her all over and stuff so that she comes back.
Yeah.
And then finally, so Jacob's like, you know what? Fuck this baby. And he goes outside and he just breaks shit. He kicks his motorcycle again. And he goes out in the woods and he turns into a werewolf. And he's running around and he comes back and goes, I'm going to go in and kill that baby. And he runs the whole way into the house. And then so much of this movie has been about Jacob's never imprinted anybody. And if he just imprinted somebody else, he would forget. He sees this baby and he has this vision of what she's going to look like when she's Bella's age. And she's pretty. Mm-hmm. Right? And then he sees all the ages she's going to be. And he says, I want to protect her. Drink. And he talks about how she's so beautiful. And he realizes, I just imprinted this baby. Which is creepy because this baby's a couple hours old. And I know that she's aged already to a 4 or 5 month old baby because it's a super baby. Mm-hmm. Right? But...
It's like that movie, Jack.
Yeah. What's that one?
With Robin Williams.
Oh,
where he grows up real fast.
Oh, I never saw it.
I love that movie. It's the greatest. My
it.
baby would like it.
No,
Yeah, you would.
not Robin Williams. So anyway, he imprints himself on the baby, and that turns away all the werewolves. At this point, Bella wakes up on the operating table, and her eyes turn red, and that's the end of the movie. Mm-hmm. Which is a pretty cool ending. It's like, oh, she's a vampire now. They just had a super baby, and a werewolf's in love with the baby.
Mm-hmm.
I'm left with a lot of questions.
I know.
And that sets up the last movie, which we haven't really got into yet.
But we will on our next episode.
It'll just be all about the final.
It'll be Breaking Dawn, Part 1 and 2.
We got through pretty Breaking Dawn Part 1.
Yeah.
But I think the complexities of it we could discuss a little more. Like the speech the girl gives where she's like, I guess Edward doesn't notice me.
Mm-hmm.
And I was the captain of the volleyball team.
Yeah.
And maybe I was prettier, but that's okay.
Yeah.
That's fine. I mean, Edward Cullen doesn't notice anybody. But girl comes from Arizona. Notices right away.
Is that Arizona people?
Hey, Arizona.
Mm-hmm.
Did people call you Detroit whenever you were in Vegas?
No,
Like,
not
hey,
really.
Hey, Detroit.
No.
Hey, punk rock Becca.
Yeah, sometimes that.
Yeah, sometimes that.
Yeah.
Hey, Becky.
Becca Trash.
Hey, Becca Trash.
Mm-hmm.
That's more Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
What's her name call you?
Be Vegas.
Be Vegas, yeah. So you did get called Vegas.
Well, that's because of Jana's dad actually started that. Bart started that.
I'd like to remake Twilight with Jana in it. I think it would be amazing.
Like Jersey Shore vampires.
That's a great idea for a movie.
Like West Virginia vampires.
West Virginia, it'd be like if we combine the Dancing Whites of West Virginia with a vampire movie. Where they're just all like vampires that run meth.
Yep.
I think people would like that.
They would.
Well, that's a lot about Twilight. Anything else you want to add about Twilight?
I'll be glad when it's over.
But don't you feel like we've done something by watching it?
Yeah.
Like we've accomplished something?
I'll know what other people are talking about now. Most of it.
But do you look down on people that liked it?
That are obsessed with it, yes.
Like, you can see, like, that they're pretty much, like, sad people that, who have manufactured rage, and they're the people that post. This is my biggest
I feel like it's not worthwhile to be invested in this.
I don't like when people just share memes out all the time about, like, having a positive attitude, and, like, if life puts you in the wrong place, you're the one that has to get on it. It's like, oh, just fucking do it.
Yeah.
Get your shit together. You don't have to tell me you're getting your shit together. Yeah. It seems like people that post those love Twilight.
I know.
People that post those happy birthday to my dad in heaven things, those people like Twilight.
Yeah. Well, I live in a fantasy world.
Yeah. The left here?
I don't know. Maybe.
We'll see up ahead.
Yeah.
It just feels like...
Yeah, I don't think viewers... It's at all lanes, so I think that was a one-off.
Alright. I just don't... It's the same people like Harry Potter. So they achieved their goal.
Yeah.
But it feels like Harry Potter is something that's going to stick around forever, and they're going to make movies in it forever. I think Twilight, it already looks... It's less than 10 years old, and it feels super dated.
Yeah.
Like, it feels like if we would watch it again... And this is someone that likes movies like Teen Witch and stuff. But it feels like something that's just way, way, way old. Like, it feels like Lost Boys doesn't feel dated, and it came out how many years ago?
I know.
Like, it still feels like...
they still seem cool to me.
Yeah. Like, it feels very much of the now.
Yeah.
This movie doesn't even... Maybe even at the time it came out, it already felt dated.
Yeah.
Like, it's all, like, black filters, and, like, everybody's glimmering, and everything looks painted. Like, everybody doesn't look like real human beings.
I know, it looks CGI.
The whole thing. Baby, thanks for talking Twilight as we drove up to Cleveland.
Yes.
I love you.
I love you.